Hi there gamers, and welcome to a preview of the game Sugar Shift. These are the components you have here. You have your recipe cards, show an example here, your sugar cubes, your temperature gauge with a little mercury, and the cards for your drawing in your hands. And the object of this game is basically to collect recipes. Person with the most recipes at the end is the winner. Each player gets 4 cards, so what you want to do is shuffle all the recipes, shuffle the cards, and deal 4 to each player. I'll just deal a 4-player hand to begin with, and set the draw pile aside for now. And on your turn, what you want to do is check your hand to see if you have any cards that can contribute to the current recipe. Now, a fun difference mentioned in the rules that's a little different than other games is to turn up a second recipe so you know ahead of time what the next round is, because at the end of each round you don't get rid of any cards you have left in your hand, and you always have 4 cards in your hand. So on your turn, as you can see, for this recipe that you'll be doing currently, you want to only use this red single symbol numbers. They're in increments of 5. So obviously this player wouldn't be able to play at this time because they have no single red number 5s or 10s. If you can't play, you have a chance to discard one or all of your hand and draw new ones, but then your turn is finished. If you can play, for example, if a number 10 was in their hand instead of, say, this 5, they would contribute it on their turn and move the little mercury meter up 10, or if it was a 5, up 5, and every time you contribute a card to the recipe, you get a sugar cube. In other words, playing a card gives you a sugar cube. Now, each player goes around the table until this is finished. In other words, if all 3 players could play a card, if there was 3 players, it would be up to 30. Unless they had all 5s, it would take a little bit longer. Then whoever has the most sugar cubes, when that is reached, gets the recipe. Now if there's a tie, say 2 people had the same amount of sugar cubes, then the person who contributed last to the recipe with the same amount of sugar cubes would get the recipe. Now in the next round, this would be the current recipe, and you flip over a new one so you know what's next. And the difference between the doubles is, as you play, this recipe would go down 60. When that's reached, the round's not over. You reset it, and then keep playing up to 30. Anytime you have a second part of a recipe, as you see, there's the double line cards. Anytime you have just a single recipe, like the brown sugar one first, it's single line. So once this is completely finished, in other words, down 60, then up to 30, then the sugar cubes are counted by each player and see who wins it. So this is basically the gist of Sugar Shift. I hope you enjoy.